This is why we haven't used an agency in 8 years, 8 of the 10 years that I've been here, right? So all that work that you saw, like it was all created in-house because we actually care about this stuff. So here's some tips for anyone here who's starting a new company, looking for a new job, might be in a rut at your agency, might consider going to the brand side. After 10 years of working in one brand and going really, really deep, I would say that these are 3 tips that sound pretty trivial, but are things that I would argue you should look for in your next ... thing. All right, so here's tip number 1. Whether you're starting a company or you're joining one, find the real origin story of the company. This sounds pretty basic, but I would argue you learn a lot from the original elevator pitch, right? So why was this company even started? What was the reason, right? And instead of me actually presenting this, I thought it'd be better to actually hear it from the horse's mouth from the founder and CEO of SquareSpace. So here we go.
The whole reason this company exists is to help people with creative ideas stand out and succeed.
And by creative ideas, we don't just mean artists.
Creative ideas are new ideas. They're new businesses, new industries, new ways of making a living.
And as more and more people choose to turn their passion into ventures, we want to be the best company to support them as they differentiate themselves, grow their audiences, and most importantly, transact with their customers.
I created the first version of SquareSpace in my dorm room in 2003 because I wanted to start a blog. All of the existing tools were really fractured and didn't offer much in the way of design. I had a very particular idea about how I wanted to show up online, and so I built an all-in-one platform that could do that. At first, it was just something I made for myself, but then other people saw it and asked if they could use it. So I had a decision to make. Was I going to graduate and get a job, or try and turn Squarespace into a business? Long story short, I borrowed a bit of money from my parents, and this has been my life's work ever since.
So the interesting thing here is that was actually the film we pitched to for our IPO, right? So this is not like something that was post-rationalized. This was kind of the film to present to financial analysts in like the street, and ultimately shareholders. So to actually present something that has such a creative lens on it is pretty unique. And the interesting thing here is that our DNA as a company is built on creativity, design, and craft. Like this is in the water that everyone's drinking. This is kind of like in our blood, right? It's in our mission statement, and it is in our value proposition, right? This is not post-rationalized because a lot of people can talk the talk, but a lot of people can't walk the walk on this. And because we believe that in every product touch point where people use our product, like every single day, right, to every media touch point where people might encounter our brand, these are all moments to make a branded impression. And these moments, the collection of that is ultimately what is your brand. But it's also a moment for us to kind of, even in the smallest kind of like places, to tell a branded story and to give people a little bit of a glimpse as to what we actually care about as a company. Another thing that I realized over my life is that you get to know a lot about someone if you just go into their casa, like into their house. Like if you actually came to my house, you would know everything about me within a second without me actually saying anything, right? And it's the same thing for companies, right? So I want to show you a couple of slides here on our headquarters in the West Village in Manhattan in New York. And like this is like the facade where we actually took 2 loading docks and we completely TNT'd them to make them into our private office. And when you walk into the office, no one thinks this is a tech company at all. People think this is like an art gallery, like ultimately, right? So when you go in here, it's basically looks like an event space, art gallery. We get it all the time that it's like, what art gallery is this? It's actually not. It's actually our lobby to our company. And we actually do. We post artwork from our customers here. We put artwork from some of our employees. Sometimes we just rotate things around. We host events here. Like, this is actually something we really care about. So we wanted to present that out into the world, because what better brand impression of your company than your own casa itself? And the other thing that we wanted to do, because we care about it, is we wanted to make sure that even the office had a narrative to it. So this used to be an old printing press, right? And we actually consider ourselves a little bit of like a modern day digital printing press, right? So there's already even like a narrative story based on like the place that we actually chose to like modernize. And every single nuance, specifically like the founder and the CEO and I, we spent years and years and years trying to work with the architects and the designers to make every moment in here something representative of what we actually care about. And there were a lot of decisions done. There were a lot of design decisions done that probably didn't make a lot of sense, but we cared about how that was going to be presented, because even for our employees, like, this is something that we actually really care about. And what tech company actually has in their basement a world-class content studio, right? So we actually have, we shoot like 90% of our content ourselves now, right? So we have cycloramas, we have like continuous lights for film, we have tabletops, we have pretty much everything. We have editing suites, but more importantly, we actually have the talent. We have filmmakers, we have photographers, we have retouchers. We care about this because we give a shit about the craft, right? Everyone who comes here, right, it really, really cares about this. And if you think about it, Squarespace is a DIY product, right? This is what we do. It makes sense for us to DIY our own shit. Right? This is why we haven't used an agency in 8 years, 8 of the 10 years that I've been here, right? So all that work that you saw, like, it was all created in-house because we actually care about this stuff, and that's what we actually put a premium on. And those are the people that we hire, are the ones who want to get their hands dirty and craft things and make it kind of like really, really something unique, right? So, and then just a note here, we're very proud to be a New York based tech company. We're not a Silicon Valley transplant that decided to open up an office in New York. We were born in New York, and we're very, very proud to be New York. And this is part of our story. This is another narrative element of our brand. There's like a New Yorkness to the things that we're doing. And we're very, very proud not to just be another Silicon Valley tech company, because ultimately, if you look at the work that we've done, if you figure out the story of what we care about, we couldn't be more different than every other tech company out there. And that's kind of been something that we want to make sure, even as we grow, is that we keep that unique DNA and that footprint that only we can. So